Hey Floyd, how we doing? So, doing what I do, working my way through the collection, and here's another one from A. Another movie review no one asked for because I don't know how many people have actually heard of Absolon. Have you heard of Absolon? You probably haven't heard of Absolon. You're not missing much. Okay. This is one of those films that entered my collection back when I worked at a video store, way back when, and I honestly can't even remember why this one entered my collection. I think I mistook it for a different movie and thought, I think it was Equilibrium was what I was looking for, but I ended up with this instead. Like you do. Anyway. So, Absolon is circa 2002, and as if you can judge by the cover, it looks like it's trying to be a Matrix knockoff. Kinda? I mean, it has nothing to do with the Matrix, but it's definitely trying to ape that look just for recognition. I mean, the guy standing front and center looking like the action hero isn't even our main character. He's not. He's actually the secondary villain in this one. Okay. So, yeah, the secondary villain gets top billing, I guess. I mean, he's the one they interact with most, because Ron Perlman's actually our big bad, doing his best I'm an evil CEO thing, like Ron Perlman can do in his sleep. So, but yeah. Okay, Absolon. This one takes place in a future where, well, this one set into is 2002. It was set in the 2010s when a pandemic breaks out, and yeah. Anyway, this pandemic is one that you get some symptoms for a couple days, then you go terminal and you die. So this one will, once you go into a second stage of it, it kills you within days. So, very fatal. And it pretty much says that the economy essentially utterly collapsed. However, our movie is picking up after we've recovered from this. Now, essentially everyone is on a drug called Absolon, which is what keeps this virus at bay. And you have to essentially take your Absolon every day. And people are mostly paid in essentially time allotments of Absolon. So how much Absolon you have is essentially your net worth. And so they pretty much call it time. So this one actually came out before the movie In Time, which did time as a currency. So weird little nod there, or connection there that probably doesn't exist, but it's interesting. Well, so we're set when Norman Scott, our lead, not that the movie can agree on how his name is spelled. It's spelled Scott, C-O-T-T on the back here. Yet the end credits of the movie spelled C-O-T for some reason. Anyway, played by Christopher Lambert. Okay, I like Christopher Lambert. He's only can do so much to a movie like this, but he's at least trying. He's not sleepwalking through this. So, he's a cop that's stumbled upon this murder of the scientist who pretty much discovered Absolon, and well is trying to track down the killer. And some like big higher ups, feds are looking in and trying to help him out, but those feds are a little shifty, particularly as he finds a partner of the doctor who starts telling him, oh, the doctor was killed because he's working on a cure for Absolon, for the virus, which essentially is a big deal because now the whole world runs on Absolon, so if no one needs it anymore, there's a lot of people with a lot of money who don't want that to happen. So, Ron Perlman. Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. So the corporation who controls Absolon is now essentially more or less the government. It's or it's more powerful than it. So it's got its own agents that are trying to stop this cure from getting out. I mean, spoilers that actually the disease is now Absolon, and it's the withdrawal from it that kills people because the disease actually was eradicated. And so what we have now is a cure for Absolon. Well, Christopher Lambert gets injected with half of it, and so him and his new scientist love interest have to run around to various safe houses looking for the second half of the cure before Christopher Lambert dies. Meanwhile, we've got Lou Diamond Phillips here chasing him with a gun. repeat that a couple times. So, yeah, that's pretty much our movie. It's not great. I mean, this one would probably be down in, like, 3 MacGuffin aberration territory, but it doesn't even have the comedy aspects for it, other than a few great deliveries from Ron Perlman and Christopher Lambert. And now that's what sets this movie apart. Those two are doing all they can to uplift this material. Christopher Lambert has nothing to work with, but he at least is putting his all into it, even though the people he's playing off of are not good. And he has the unfortunate writing that he essentially has to accuse his new girlfriend twice at 2 different points of being in on it, despite having every evidence that she is on his side. One was a legitimate frame-up. The other one is just, why are we doing this? And then Ron Perlman is Ron Perlman, and is great in anything he's in. So, Ron Perlman is chewing his seeds like they're the last steak at the restaurant. He is going for it. And, yeah, he doesn't got great material either, but he at least is elevating it quite a bit just by being Ron Perlman. That said, 4 MacGuffins is what this kind of shakes out to be. It's got a great concept. And that's kind of the concept, and those 2 actors are what kind of keep it there. That said, the writing needs a couple more passes. The wraparound story element wasn't bad, little ham-fisted, but wasn't bad. This movie was trying more than I would have expected it to be, so I'll give it 4 MacGuffins. Otherwise, it's not worth too many people's time, but it passed an hour and a half. Alright, Void. See you later.